Welcome to the ESTeem Technical Series. This video will cover the release of the ESTeem 195 narrowband firmware that encompasses the radio 195C, 195M, and 195H. This firmware was released in February 1st of 2018. There were several changes made to the firmware. The greatest of those changes really came about from the network optimization that we have done using Ethernet. What we have found is that there were a couple changes that we could add to it that allowed it to operate much better in an Ethernet or TCP/IP based system. One of the first changes we made was actually by lowering the delay time for when the radio packets would transmit. It increased the actual throughput quite rapidly. The next one was actually a very large change, was brought in to alleviate some excessive network traffic, specifically the Ethernet IP Keepalive traffic. What this allowed us to do was write within the radio a proxy for the Keepalive that if we saw the Keepalive on either side of the network, we actually did not pass that over the RF link, but actually just answered the proxy on either side. Both of those changes to the firmware allowed a much faster network throughput when running over Ethernet. There were a couple of new features added. The first being that we have actually added in 3 different optimized firmware methods within the 195 utilities now. So when you select which of the utilities you'll use, you're going to select an optimization for either Ethernet, serial applications, or legacy Model 192 applications. The next thing that we allowed within the utility is that if you are configured as an Ethernet bridge, the diagnostic utility will actually function over that without having to do a ping test within the radio. This is all actually contained within the Discover utility, anything dated past January 25th, 2018. The Ethernet network optimization was the first mode. We also have a serial network optimization that covers serial, which is RS-232, RS-422, or 485, either in a transparent operation or a PLC protocol emulation. We also still support the legacy Model 192 compatibility, where the Model 195C and the 195M are used within a Model 192 network. Let's take a look at how each of these utilities looks like within the Discover utility itself. So I'll open up the ESTeem Discover utility, and again, what we're looking for is a build date of 2018, January 21st, or newer. That utility will have each of the 3 different customizations. We either have a utility for the serial applications, a utility that covers the Ethernet applications, and one that covers the legacy Model 192. Another way we can access these is just simply by pressing the Discover EST radio button. We'll see here that I have a Model 195M selected to my network. If I do a right mouse click, I have the 3 same options here. All the radios will be shipped out of the factory with the Model 195 serial utility listed within it. So if we select the Model 195, in the serial applications, we'll see here serial radio support. And you'll do the configuration just as if you would on any other serial applications. Nothing really changed on this utility. What we did change, though, if you're going to be using this in an Ethernet application, if you go to the radio and select 195 narrowband Ethernet, now what it will do is it will come up and give you a warning message that the installed radio firmware is not optimized for Ethernet modes of operation. Would you like to update the firmware? To do that, you just simply select OK. It'll take us over to the Firmware Update tab, and we hit Update the Firmware. This will actually load within the radio, come back, and what we're looking for is once it verifies, resets the radio, it will come back and say Done. Once it comes back to the Done, then all we need to do is just go back, go to the Configuration tab, and now we can set the radio for Ethernet operation. We'll see here when we do put this into Ethernet bridge mode, we have a new option available to us, and that is the TCP/IP Keepalive Proxy. We can either enable or disable, and then we select which of the Rockwell processors we're going to be connecting this to. either a control Logix, micrologix radio, or a compact Logix. Once you select either one of those operations and put in your routes and pins, we can write that configuration to the radio, and it will actually then be ready for operation. The only other change that I'd like to show you is that if you are going to be putting the radio into a Model 192 network, you simply go through the exact same process, do a right mouse click, select 195 narrowband Legacy Model 192. You'll see on here it says Legacy 192 radio support, and again the same message. Would you like to put in the firmware that optimizes it for Legacy 192 mode? We select OK, and then we can go do the update of the firmware, just as we did before. If there are any questions on how to complete the update or what is involved in each one of the optimization modes, please give us a call at either area code 509-735-9092, or you can also reach us at support@esteem.com. Thank you very much and have a great day.